Okay, Jai Hind to all of you. Myself, Dr. Jaishree, Associate Professor in Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. So today I will discuss about the security issues and challenges in the cloud computing. As we all know, we have the sensitive data that we share over the cloud. So there are different attacks that can be possible to be can hack our data that is very sensitive. So we have to just know what can be different attacks uh, that can hack our data. So we have to just understand what are the different security issues that can occur over the cloud and what are the challenges, so that we can overcome those challenges and we can make our application so robust, and the provider can also ensure that no customer data will compromise, and their security should be high, so that customer will can rely over the providers, so that they can take the service very secure way. So now we can firstly we should know what is the cloud computing. So we all know that we can say cloud is what? Internet based computing. As we all know, before cloud we have the term client server computing or distributed computing. So we want to do our computation parallelly, so that our processing can be fast. So in before ancient time, we are already only sharing the data and information over the internet, but now we have make it advanced, and now we can also share the different kind of resources like processor, like memory, like hard disk space, like operating system. So we all know we have only a single machine, only one PC. So client have to be have limitation if client is using only their machines. So there are several providers like Amazon, like Microsoft. They are going to deploy the infrastructure or the kind of hardware on their centers only, and then they are going to publish those hardware. They are going to connect it over the server, and those resources will be published over the web server. So one URL will be assigned to the customer, so that they can find the services, they can choose the services from the catalog, and they if any customer want to work any on the virtual machine, so he or she can hire the virtual machine. So this kind of resources, this kind of computing actually called the cloud computing, where the globally it is spread, and remotely users can access the resources. So this is the overview how cloud computing come into the picture. So we can say internet based computing, where all the shared resources, so resources got published over the web, and going to be shared among the, as a tenant service will be provided by the provider, and consumer can hire the choose the service, and there are some charges also. So they have to make some payment, some kind of bill will be generated, how much resources they are going to use. So resources going to be shared, softwares and information are provided to the computers. So there are different kind of services we have divided over the cloud, like infrastructure as a service, there can be platform as a service, and there can be software as a service. So services can be divided into different form, and user can have to just choose which kind of service he or she want to be. So user can access the information from anywhere at any time, because they are going to use the services on the remote basis. So at any location they can access the services. So what are the features? There are certain features that any provider have to follow. So on demand self service means all the resources, all the services should be on demand, means the demand will come in online manner. The consumer is going to be select the service. So self service option is available. Then broad network access mean that I already told that these services are worldwide available, and at the global environment, and user can access from their location and take the subscribe the services and user need not to bother where is the actual data center lie. So broad network means user can access the services at any location at any time, and there is a large network that is you can say like as a Wi-Fi work and as a satellite work at the global manner. So next is resource pooling. Resource pooling means the resources actually are have to be collected at the cloud data centers. So all the provider first make the servers and just equip the all the hardware onto the resource pool. So resource pooling means all the like we assemble our PC and take the parts of the PC from different vendors. So this is a example of resource pooling. Means there can be different like motherboards. The provider have to manage the rack of the motherboards, then the provider have to equip the processor in that motherboard, and like RAM and hard disk, all kind of hardware will get equipped. So this is called as a resource pooling. Next is rapid elasticity, because the demand can be increased at any time, and the user can demand more servers. So the provider should be ready to have some machine at the hibernate mode, so that when demand come. So rapid elasticity means we can take the example of Google Drive. As we know, Google is going to provide 15 GB storage as a free of cost, but as the demand increase means if I have my Gmail account and my mail are increasing and increasing, and the data is also increasing, so how can I can survive only onto the 15 GB drive? So I will arise the demand. So this is a rapid elasticity, means as per demand increases, the resources get added onto the server. So next is measured services. Measured services means all the cloud resources, all the cloud services going to be measured, because the provider have to be check how much resources are going to be used, and what is the final price, what is the final bill of the consumer. So the accounting of the services are very required. So all the services got measured. And next is pricing scheme will be differ vendor to vendor. Means Amazon can have their own pricing scheme for the resources, and other vendor have the different resources pricing. So pricing scheme should be there so that the resources can be easily used, and the provider can also earn from that services. So this is all the different features we have discussed. Next is types of cloud. So we have different deployment category. How can we deploy the cloud so that their use can be at a different manner? So private cloud means this is we have four kind of actually deployment levels: private and public, then community cloud, and then hybrid cloud. So private cloud means within the organization, within the premise. So the cloud is managed by the organization and serve it solely, like any organization can deploy their cloud within their campus or premise, and only internal workers or employee can use those services. So that is not public, that is not at the worldwide, that is can be only have the URL that is used for internal users. So next is public cloud. Public cloud means the cloud infrastructure is owned and managed by the service providers. So we already discussed we can have different provider like Amazon, Microsoft, like Google. So all these provider going to be deploy the infrastructure at their own space, and then they are going to connect those hardware and those servers to the web servers and services. All the resource get connected to the server, and when that at the global level they are going to publish on the one domain should be there, like .com domain or .org. There can be different domain servers. So they got registered over the server, and resource get available on the server, and consumer can access those resource with the help of URL. Next is community cloud. So community cloud means that is a group means we can just combine 2 or 3 cloud, like in private cloud only one cloud deployed by one organization, but if there are 3 or 4 group of organization, they can combine their cloud servers, and they can manage, the group community can be there, and their resources can be shared. So this is also can be a part, one deployment model. And next is hybrid. Hybrid means that is combination of any two cloud, means we can make the combination of actually private plus public, means when we deployed the cloud at the organization level, then we can also make it the public mode, means the cloud is deployed at my center, and I make that resource, that server, as a public domain. So public, when I can also open it for public, so it can also be used by the external users also. So this is the type of hybrid cloud. Next, services, I already told, we can divide the services into different parts, like software as a service, like platform as a service, or infrastructure as a service. So software means ki we are using different software that we have to be purchased, like MS Office is one kind of software, like Adobe is one kind of software. So we have to just some software are open source, but some software have license, so their license are very high cost, like Oracle. So we can have the service like software as a service. So cloud is going to be, provider are going to be deploy the softwares on their own centers, and you can directly, we can make the authentication, like sign up. We have done the sign in on any provider's website, and we can just select the application which I want to use. Like we are nowadays, we are going to use the online softwares or online compilers, and we just use the online softwares like MATLAB, like Python. So we are going to use the online ideally, and just implement our code on that ideally. So this is we, rather than buying, installing and running software by the user, they can directly use the software. All kind of these buying and installing will be done on the cloud server level, cloud providers level. So next is platform. Platform mean we just need some library, we just need some environment, like GitHub or GoDaddy are going to provide you the environment that you can host your website over the server. So we just need a platform so that my application will be done, my application can be implemented over the internet. So this is a platform as a service, that applications can be developed and executed in online mode. So online, if some library support will be given by the provider, I can deploy my application. Next is infrastructure. Infrastructure means we need some computation power, we need some storage space, and we need some any networking service. So as my processor bandwidth, if I have my PC and my processor bandwidth is low, if I have i3 processor or i5 processor, and I need to implement i9, then I can borrow the service from the provider. So in this we can say computation power, and storage means my system RAM is very small and my data is very large. So how can I store my data? So we can take the storage service from the cloud servers. So this is the service that come under the infrastructure as a service. Now main problem is when we are going to take these kind of services, so our data is going to be shared on these services. So how can we ensure my data will not leak? And because this is a tenant service, many users are going to share the server simultaneously. So how can I ensure that these data will be secure? So because internet is all, we all know everything which are moving or sharing over the internet, that is less secure. So how can we protect? So the attack is like data breach. So how can we protect our data from data breach? Data breach means data is going to be cracked or hacked by the hacker. So for ensuring that these breach will not occur, so we can ensure that no data breach will occur. So we can enable the confidentiality. We have different cryptographic algorithm. Confidentiality means we can convert our data or lock our data with the help of key, and then the data will be unlocked with the help of only by the receiver, which is the intended. Integrity means we have to ensure that our data will not be modified. So no hacker we have option like read and write. We can say no user can write or update my data. So next is data lock-in. So user will lose data if they migrate from one vendor to another vendor. This is another issue. So we can so next is data remainance. Data remainance means it is residual representation of data that have been erased or removed in some way. Means when we data remainance means the metadata of the data that is stored over the internet. If we are going to delete our data, then some remainance kind of thing can be stored over the server. So that remainance should be go to the trash, and we just have to remove those remainance data. So this is the problem that is related to data security. Next, data recovery. Sometimes server may break down and cause the damage or loss to the user's data. So how can we recover the data? We have to just make some backup, and backup server. From backup we can fetch the data. If there is a server damage or any virtual machine get down, then we can restore our data and get start another virtual machine. So this is very important. Next is data locality. To ensure that where our data is have to store over the cloud, we can enable the locality. We can just on the locality of the data, so that user can ensure in which region the data server are installed. So actually this can solve the problem of secure software as a service model. We can just create the secure software as a service model that provide the reliability to the customer, that the location where the location of that of the user data is stored. So this is another problem. Next is application related issues. So we have cloud malware injection attack. That is the applications that we are going to deploy over the cloud. So the hacker or attacker can make some malware injection attack. So when any user is going to take the service of infrastructure, like user have hired the virtual machine, and it can be attacker also. So he or she is trying to take the access to the another virtual machine or inject some malware to the virtual machine, so that the virtual machine that have the shared hardware, so the malicious will try to just crack the hardware, so that other machine will also get corrupted and data will be easily fetched by the hacker. So to ensure, what is the solution? How can we ensure the this malware injection attack cannot occur? So we have to just provide the integrity check, so that no hacker can modify the virtual machine, and all VM should be have isolated from the hypervisors. And no, if any virtual machine get infected, those machine that machine can be just stop, and the data will be move on to the next machine. Next, cookie poisoning attack. So in this, unauthorized access is made into the application by modifying the content of the cookie. So we all know from the internet we have several cookies that store the log information or session of the data. So this cookie is very harmful if the user is any hacker is going to just read the cookie content, so the data can be easily hacked. So one solution is to clean up the cookie or to encrypt the cookie data. So this is application related. Next is backdoor and debug attack. So this is one I already told. Back entry means the developer who is going to develop the cloud service. So that can have some debug option over the website. So while doing the debugging, any hacker can have the backdoor entry if that debugging option get enabled. So that should be disabled, and that only particular admin have the permission to enable that debug option. So this is one attack. And hidden field manipulation means certain fields are hidden in the website and used by only the developer. So hacker can easily modify that on the web page. So this is also that have the authorization problem. So only intended admin can manipulate the hidden fields. So CSP means server level attack. So guest hopping means attacker will try to get access to one of the virtual machine by penetrating another virtual machine. So I already told, if one user is going to take access of any virtual machine, and he or she can try to break the content of the other virtual machine. So this is one attack. And SQL injection means injecting the SQL command to the database of an application. Means what is the database of the cloud servers. On that database, any malware or any hacker is going to inject some kind of code and can break the database security and fetch the data. Next, malicious insider attack and side channel attack. Malicious insider mean any employee can have the internal hacker and can access the sensitive data of the user. So all employees of the organization should follow the policy that they only have to manage the server's issues and not to just read the data of the user. Next is side channel attack. Or data should have the encrypted form, so that nobody can read the user's data. And side channel attack means when attacker places the malicious virtual machine on the same physical machine. So when the VM get created over the cloud, so any hacker can put their malicious VM on the server also and find the confidential information of the victim machine. Then network related attack means DNS attack, domain name server attack should be there on the network. So any domain hijacking can be there. It is defined the changing the name, like when we are going to make any URL or website, then any hacker have the same website, one minor spelling can be changed, and so it will help the intruder to access the sensitive information. Next, cross-site scripting attack is also this attack when any when any intended, this is the user going to access the web page, and this is the victim that inject the malicious script, means malicious web page, and the user get redirected to the vulnerable website. So this is a cross scripting and the user will get redirected to the vulnerable website. Next, IP spoofing means this is called as a denial of service attack when multiple user get overflow the server, that is the target server, and that lead to the denial of service attack. No consumer no request will be served by the server. So these are all the attack, like man in the middle attack, network sniffing attack, where the attacker will sense the channel and can hack the information over the channel. And this is also the capturing the packet that are going to flow over the internet. So we have to just put the identification, authenticity, authorization. These are the security solution we can provide when I want to ensure that our data will get secured over the internet. So these are the challenges. We already discussed security, costing model, charging model, service level agreement, and cloud interoperability issues. So thank you so much.